so thank you for your time, Matt.
Thank you.
We have a lot of questions for you. I hope you are not afraid about it.
No.
And don't worry about it. But there are a lot of communities, and now we put all community questions together in one interview. I think that's the first time we have this from the whole German community.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we'll make all videos in English to explain to the viewers, and I will not translate it in German because it's too much work, I think, in those days.
Sure.
Even me speaks English, so it should be okay for our viewers. Yeah. First of all, maybe you can introduce you and the platform we are talking about in a few sentences to give all our viewers an impression what we are talking about. What kind of investments do you offer, and what are the advantages of this kind of investment and your platform?
Okay, so my name is Matt Clannachan. I'm the head of investor relations here at Bondora. Bondora is one of the oldest peer-to-peer platforms, as we spoke briefly about earlier today. So we are headquartered in Estonia. We invest in unsecured personal loans, and we issue these loans in Finland, Spain, and Estonia. Now, we have investors from 85 countries over the world, but our biggest base is in Estonia, of course, and as you know, Germany. So one of the unique things about Bondora and investing with Bondora is actually the way that you can invest. So there's definitely no one-size-fits-all product with investors. You know, people will have different levels of experience, different goals, different strategies. Now, with Bondora, if you like to be hands-on, you can invest via the API. You can invest via our semi-automated services like the Portfolio Manager and Portfolio Pro. With them, you can select a strategy, or you can select filters, you know, per country or per risk rating as well. And our latest and most simple product is Go and Grow. Now, that is literally for the passive people who just want to put the money in, get the return, take the money out. No investment lists, secondary market or anything.
Okay, great.
So we're leaders in choice.
Okay, great. So we will talk about Go and Grow, I think, a little bit later, because there was a community question about Go and Grow. Yeah, I like the easy way, of course, to be honest, because it should be passive. I don't want to spend every day with looking for loans and so on. I even don't have the time, because I want to produce on my own in this time where the money works for me. And that's the great thing of the time we also discussed before. In earlier times, the banks and everything, now it's just fintech, and the software does most of it. Of course, there are people behind it, and it's nice to meet them. But most of it is just an intelligent software, I think. Great, so maybe we look on the next question. What kind of loans do you offer? And maybe you can describe all types in a few easy sentences for our viewers and me to understand. Which kind of repayment do you have, and what are the differences?
Yeah, so we only issue unsecured loans. So we don't do anything for like business loans or secured on real estate or anything like that. So the common purposes that people take these loans out for would be for, say, home improvements. It would be for a large purchase, say if they get a car, or dream holiday. So they're kind of like the top three purposes that we issue loans for. Now,
so just to say, like consumer loans at least.
Consumer loans.
Consumer
yeah,
loans. Yeah.
Unsecured consumer loans.
Yeah.
So that's all we do. That's what we're experts in, and yeah, so it keeps it simple. It lets us perfect it, and that's what we do.
And that's what you do since a lot of years, I think, since
day
more
one.
than 10 years.
Yeah, since day one.
And it works since 10 years. Yeah, so that's not all platforms are like 10 years on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something which gives me some secure feeling. Yeah. And the repayment, do they repay monthly, or is it different?
Yeah, it's a standard repayment schedule monthly. There's no like
every loan
bullet schedule or anything like that. It's just a one standard monthly repayment schedule. So the point of that as well is for the investors, they then get the benefit of the monthly cash coming in. You know, it's not like locked away for a certain period and you're not receiving any income. It's a monthly cash flow, which a lot of people like.
Okay,
especially for those with
so all loans work like the same, yeah? So
yes.
Okay, great. Then I don't need to ask the next question, because then it makes no difference between the loans. Okay, so I think now we change to the many questions of the different community members in social media. For example, from the annual meeting community, Daniel Mir asks, when do you plan to open Go and Grow function for every user? Already it was answered, I think, in my group, but I want to make it in the video as well, because I think it may interest viewers who did not read the answers. Yeah. Yeah.
So we officially released Go and Grow on Tuesday this week, so just 3 days ago, and it's been incredibly popular so far. I mean, we actually had some users testing it throughout some of April and May, and throughout May it took up around 24% of our total amount invested in the platform. So it decreased the percentage of popularity in Portfolio Manager and Portfolio Pro, and Go and Grow took up a very good share.
I also think about it because at first we discussed that they invest in Stuttgart. I thought maybe yes, the interest rate is much lower, but it's much better liquidity, I think.
Well, that's it. It's not for everyone. It's not a product for everyone, but it's a reliable rate that you can plan month to month. Now, it is up to that 6.75%. So I think investors really like the predictability and they can trust it. So. Exactly.
I think that's about the next question. I will start with the next questions and then maybe we continue if I have on my own more question about it. As far as possible, do you can assure the 6.75% rate? I think he means, especially with the huge spread between this 6.75 and the normal P2P return on investment. I would assume it's nearly safe. Is that the right thing?
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment to say. I mean, we, as you said, offering loans for the past 10 years and investments for the past 10 years. Now, throughout that time, our return has been in the double digits the whole time.
Yeah.
So for us, we're quite confident in offering this rate of 6.75% with the added benefit of the instant liquidity as well. So that's a huge benefit of Go and Grow. So investors can actually access their cash.
I think it's a really fair value. The next question is there any delay between transfer and investment start possible, like in normal P2P investment, because of lack of loans?
Actually, no. So because we take care of the whole back end side of it, the investors don't see like the investment list or anything that you see in the traditional methods, but you receive the interest daily on Go and Grow. So from day one, you'll add your money, and the day after, you'll see the interest being added daily, which is a really nice visual way of seeing it
added daily,
It's added daily.
Okay, that's perfect. So you can just exit every day and you will get exactly on the day.
Yeah, you see what you've added, you see what has been added to the account, and then you can withdraw the total part.
It's really interesting. I think it's not so bad. And how long is the delay when you get it out? So it's like a
it's basically it's like the instant as a withdrawal. We don't put any restriction on it. So it's if you're withdrawing via SEPA or TransferWise, however long they take to withdraw. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions to the Go and Grow? No, I think it's everything said like right now. Then we can go on to the Aktien mit Kopf community. I think the thread was posted. Yeah, exactly. I think the thread I posted was deleted in an error. So sorry to the members of the community if I did not get all questions maybe, but I made a screenshot out of it and I think I got most of it. And there was one question from Evie Reggie. If an investor gets a 10% rate out of it, how high is the interest charged to the consumer who actually has to pay back the credit? Yeah. And additional question from me, maybe on this point, is there enough difference to secure the buyback payment security loans?
So we don't actually have any spread
exactly.
between the loans.
And you don't have buyback, so you... Yeah.
But to give you some more information, what the investor sees, like on their loan list, of what the borrower has been charged, is what they get. We don't take any spread between that.
Okay, so it's really peer-to-peer. It's
literally peer-to-peer. Yeah, we don't.
The investor gets exactly the rate from the borrower.
We don't do the bank thing of offering 20% on loans and 2% on savings accounts. So it's the same. Yeah.
Okay, that's
the only difference with Go and Grow is actually that money, any profits on top of the 6.75% go back into a reserves pot for the investor. So we actually don't have a claim on that.
I think I understand. So the difference to other platforms is like other platforms make a buyback. So you make Go and Grow. It's some kind of buyback, but with other advantages, of course. And the other thing is, okay, you just make peer-to-peer, but real peer-to-peer, where the borrower has the rate and the same rate is at the
whatever the borrower gets, the investor gets too.
And do the borrower have any fee to pay, or what? How do you finance? So you have to make money as well, yeah.
Of course. So the borrowers have like a contract fee with that. They can have like other options we have called Be Secure, which is where they get some more flexibility with their loan to change their repayment schedules and that kind of thing. But in absolute terms, this is about €8 a month, like a borrower can have for the contract fee and if there's Be Secure features. So it's different kind of elements that give them more flexibility with their loans.
Okay, great. Yeah. So maybe the next question, it's from my friend Tuan. He is the blog owner of Finanzpolster. and member of Financial Independence Table, where also we met in Vienna. It's a bigger community. We meet like every 2 months or something like that and discuss how to get financially independent in those days. Yeah. And there will be also and he will also make an interview with me about the P2P and my trip to the Baltic soon. So on his blog there will also be an article about this. Yeah. Tuan asks, when will you reach break-even, or did you already reach it?
As in, like, financially as a company?
Yeah.
Oh, we've already, we're profitable.
You're profitable.
Yeah. So 2017 was Bondora's first full financially profitable year.
Which year? Sorry, I didn't.
2017.
2017. Okay, this last year, of course.
Yeah, that's the last year. Yeah, so the full
okay.
year of 2017 was the first profitable for Bondora, and we expect it to definitely continue this year as well. So
should continue like this. So we should not worry about Bondora. And
it gives investors a lot of confidence. You know, with a peer-to-peer platform that's profitable.
Okay, so I think the next one. Okay, how do you evaluate the loan originator? I don't need this, of course, because you don't have loan originators. You are on your own.
I can tell you how we originate our own borrowers. I can tell you
maybe their own borrowers. Yeah.
So we actually have, again, in-house our own proprietary credit modeling system. So it's very unique in the way that we don't just use the traditional income and expenditure just to give them a credit rating. We use the traditional methods like that, credit bureaus, the population registries, but we also use the non-traditional methods as well, like social media, how they use our site, and we combine this with thousands of data points all together to give the customer a rating from AA to HR. So it's very unique. Yeah,
and I think it works, of course.
It works, yeah, of course.
So it's worked since 10 years, so it's okay, yeah. Do you think the recovery becomes better right now?
It actually is, yeah. It's improving. So we've done some improvements over the past few months to automate a lot of it because, again, because we're keeping some things in-house, we file the claims to courts, and previously this has been done manually, which is why it's taken a bit more time.
Okay.
But now in Finland and Estonia, it's done automatically. So once the borrower defaults, it's automatically filed to the courts along the recovery process.
Proves again the digital life here in this country is very, very interesting. I think,
yeah.
Okay, great. So then the next question was, if you face economic downturn, what impact does it have on your company and on the P2P market?
It's a good question because while we haven't had something like 2008 again, we have had a recession in Finland and in Spain while we've been operating there. So not only have we still been able to deliver while that's happened, we've actually gathered all the data from how borrowers act in those economic climates. So it's as we spoke before the interview today, you see that P2P isn't very correlated with the stock market at all.
Yeah, that's
whereas that obviously there's a huge correlation between what happens in the economic climate with that. But with P2P, we've seen so far that we can actually still deliver throughout that. So yeah, I mean, we don't know if a global recession happens. We will see, but the results that we've collected so far give us confidence.
It's also the same when people ask me these questions, if I'm not afraid because of my investments and how I can take the risk. I say, you never know how in which kind it comes. It can be that the cash is just like inflation. It can be that it's about the stock market. It can be that you never know. So the only thing is diversification, and I make no secret out of it that I will increase my investments in P2P again. So I believe in it, of course. Okay, then now questions from the community of p2pkredite.com forum. Maybe you know it. It's a very big forum, I think. Bolanga asks, can you please comment on your assignment rules on loans auto-invest function? It's a very difficult question in English for me. I just make a short translation for our German viewers. Ich würde Sie ganz allgemein nach den Zuteilungsregeln des Auto-Invest fragen, also die Frage. Okay, maybe you can say something about it.
So how we assign loans?
On the auto-invest, how the auto-invest works.
So with the auto-invest like portfolio manager, you'll pick strategy from ultra-conservative, balanced, all the way to opportunistic. Now, with those strategies, you will have a different expected default rate within the portfolio. So of your investments that may default, because of course it happens in B2B. Now, with the ultra-conservative, you're going to have a lower expected default rate. With the opportunistic, you're going to have a higher. Now, to counteract that, the interest rate that you were assigned, the average interest rate within your portfolio of loans is going to be higher or lower. So if you have an opportunistic portfolio with a higher expected default rate. You will have an interest rate which compensates for this. Now, that is done from what I said in the previous question of how we assign the credit ratings to borrowers. And at the same time, they are assigned a interest rate as well. So that's in a non-kind of technical way of explaining how we actually do it, but yeah.
Okay, great. Then I think we take the question from Libertatem. He asked, is there a grace period like Mintos? I think they mean, for example, say they have maybe if there is holiday or something, it's not always at the moment a delayed repayment.
So, like, do we offer like a 30
for
days?
The borrowers? Yes. For if they make the repayment, and there is a bank holiday, so is it shown as delayed just in this moment, or give them maybe a weekend?
It would show as overdue. So we have an in-house collection process for our first, I think it's 70 days or around 70 days. But within that time period, it's not filed to court or anything, but it will show on the investors list as overdue in that meantime.
Okay. Yeah. Octaeda asks, there are lots of technical issues the last weeks at Bondora. Support is friendly but too busy. Better times ahead?
Well, we have been launching Go and Grow in the past couple of weeks, so we've been updating the system and doing some tests. Now, I'd say we don't have any more IT issues than the average fintech platform, but some of our more passionate users will be using the platform quite frequently and may see the outages quite often. So it is something that we want to perfect, so there's no issues at all, and that's where we're going. But yeah,
but the last days were a little bit difficult time, because
it may have just been because we're updating.
Yeah, I think community members and P2P did they are very heavy users. So they are
I can
online
imagine
all the time. They live like digital life in this office. I think. They feel like being here. Okay, right, great. So better times ahead, I think. And when I upload this interview, I think I will do it today. So in the next week it will be better. Okay, perfect. Then questions followers sent me on private messages. For example, Katja Wagner. What are your expectations regarding the future, the next 5 years of P2P in general?
That's a good question.
Future of P2P.
I actually think that myself that the world doesn't know about P2P yet. Because we're in these communities, we're very heavily involved in it, and it seems like just normal to us. Why would anyone?
For us, it's normal. For me, it's normal to be here.
Why would anyone not use P2P? But I think there's still, and it's already happening. There's a knowledge gap to be bridged with people who are still putting their money into bank account and calling it investing. So I think over the next 5 years, especially, that knowledge gap will decrease because more people will understand P2P. They will trust P2P more. For simple products like Go and Grow, which give them access to the market. And I think that will put the industry into the stratosphere and really
and I think it's maybe for both sides, also for the borrowers, because why should I pay a big bank building a lot of employers and everything, if you can make just with the software at least. Of course there are also some people working behind it for sure, but not like a traditional bank.
It's just a seamless process.
And by the way on that, so that's the way digital life changes, Okay, great. Your company, including future plans, hiring employees, spreading to other loan originators, countries, etc. Do you want to expand?
I mean, at the moment we're around, as I said earlier in the video, around 50 staff, 45 to 50. Now, we don't have any plans to, at the moment, to branch out into other countries to set up because we like to get the most efficient people and use them in the most efficient way. So we find that we will hire someone for a specific purpose, and then they'll have other talents that we can utilize in other places of the business as well. And that's what we like to do. So we don't want to hire staff for the sake of it, just for political roles or anything like that. So at the moment, we're happy around the 50 people mark. It allows us to be sustainable and grow. So,
but if some of our viewers want to work here, they can send you.
Send me an email.
Okay, great. What do you think about the Baltic economy? She asks.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I think so.
It's incredible. I think Estonia is the country with the lowest deficit in the world.
Really?
Yeah. So the lowest deficit, or definitely in Europe, but maybe in the world. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, but I think within these post-Soviet nations, they've had the opportunity to rebuild from the ground up, and especially from Estonia's perspective, where they have such a digital society, it's allowed them to advance way past any of these other countries. I think even compared to what I'm used to in the UK, everything is so much more digitized and accessible here, and it's just allowed these incredible companies to grow and develop and offer these services as well.
Yeah, great. So I think we have to come here more often, maybe, yeah, in future
yeah.
times, yeah,
definitely.
And increase the investments, of course, yeah. And what do you think about the countries you are invested in? Is the next question from Katja.
So we have loans in Finland, Spain, and Estonia.
Yeah.
At the moment, there's no direct plans to expand into other countries because there's actually a huge market within these countries alone that we don't actually need to. We are planning to get a banking license within the next 2 years, which would give us the opportunity to do that in a much easier way with regulation. Great. So the opportunity will be there if the access to the credit market and credit data is available as well. At the moment, there's actually no need for us to specifically do that.
Okay, and what do you think about the future about Spain, maybe?
It's something that we can definitely expand in Spain. It's a huge market in Spain that we have only a small part of.
So you're positive about the economic future of
absolutely,
Spain?
yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Like whole Europe, I think.
Is it hard to get a banking license in Estonia?
So you have to apply to the European, the central bank, to get this banking license. So it actually, once you apply, it takes 18 months for the application to process anyway. So yeah, so that's only from the time that you actually apply. So it takes time, but we are
positive.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably do around 10 million in revenue this year, over 10 million, and I think that satisfies the regulators as well, especially with our history.
Okay, great. So maybe some final questions from me right now, because I think the video is getting longer and longer, but very interesting content, and I thank you so much for it. Yeah, you know, I really love your platform. I think you feel it and you know it. So I'm really positive here, of course. Maybe some critic, other blogger will also come here one day. But you will understand that investors would like to invest in different P2P platforms, beside different allocations anyway, like we've talked before, like stock market and so on.
Sure.
So because of diversification, are there any other platforms you would recommend, maybe at least 3?
Being completely honest, in P2P I only invest in Bondora, so I don't use any other P2P platforms, but in terms of other assets and allocations.
Okay, that would be the next question. So other assets maybe?
Yeah,
what are you invested in?
Myself, it's P2P, real estate, and also equity securities like stocks and shares. So that's my 3 spread. Yeah. So in real estate, it's the traditional method of investing, not like through a platform, but actually directly investing into real estate, doing the buy, renovate, and refinance.
Okay, so you do it on your own.
Yeah.
Not like Estate Guru, that will be our next interview today.
Yeah, so not through a platform, like actually hands-on sourcing the deals yourself and going through it.
You do it yourself.
It's a complete opposite of the passive income in the beginning that you get with peer-to-peer, because you're quite hands-on, especially if you're doing renovations. But yeah, and then also in between that is investing in either a fund with stocks and shares or single equities on their own, and doing the buy and hold or trading them actually as well.
But what would you say are the main advantages of Bondora? What do you better than
passive income? Passive income.
But what are the advantages of Bondora
to different platforms?
To different P2P platforms like Estate Guru?
Yeah, so I would say something we touched on at the start of the interview. Bondora is a leader in choice. So we have these 4 different, actually 5 if you count manual, different ways to invest, which, as I said, you can't have a one product fits all for investors, but you can have for the programmers who like to create their own API and do all their own filters, for the people who are semi-active and want Portfolio Pro to make their own selections without having the technical knowledge, Portfolio Manager to have the longer term investment and choose a strategy at the same time, go and grow for the passive investors who want instant access to the money, and then for the other investors who want to actually pick loans manually as well from the secondary market. So it's not one product fits all, but it's a one-stop shop for investors.
Yeah, and I think it's, of course, with the 6% and the liquidity, it's a perfect diversification to the stock market, I think, because if you listen to Warren Buffett, he says yeah, you just put your money in like an ETF for index, yeah, and wait. And it's true, yeah, if you wait maybe 20 years, 30 years, it will always be about 6% per annum. So it fits perfect to the go and grow, I think, as well.
Traditionally, people don't like volatility as well in stock markets. I think people shy away from it because they don't like a decrease of 1 to 2% in a few months, never mind 20% in one day. So so people like the predictability.
And I think it's a good diversification, of course. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, great. So maybe some viewers might be interested to sign up to your platform right now. I will put the link in the description under the video, of course. Yeah, so just press the link. Do you have any affiliate program with advantages for the viewers, of course?
We have an amazing affiliate program.
Yeah.
Do you know yourself?
I think I know it, but maybe you can tell
I can,
for the
of
viewers
course,
if you use the link below the video right now.
Yeah, so anyone who is an investor with Bondora, you can have, you don't have to specifically sign up as an affiliate, but you can use the Invite Friends tab, which you'll see on the left-hand side when logged into your account. Now, you can invite people on social media, your friends, your colleagues, whoever you like, and if they invest, you get 5% of what they invest within the first 30 days as a bonus from us.
Okay.
And they get a €5 starting bonus as well. So actually, just for joining as a thank you again from us, they get €5 to start investing. You know, if they just want to test it out themselves.
Okay, I see. So everybody uses this link will become €5.
Everyone who uses your link will get €5
as a
from
thank
Bondora.
you for watching this video.
That's it. Yeah.
And okay, great. Yeah, so I think a lot of interesting news from your side. Thank you so much for being here and having time for us. Yeah. And thank you for the office tour. I think also interesting for some people who might be afraid, is Bondora real? Yeah, whatever. You sometimes hear some questions. Also like, is it a Ponzi scheme or something like that? I don't think so, of course. Yeah.
Good.
And now we are here and saw everything, so it looks great on my side. And really thank you for the interview. And hope to meet you again soon. I think we have to come back to the Baltics.
Yeah. Oh, it's the second time in a couple of months that we met, so yeah.
Yeah, of course, but not in the Baltics, because last time it was in
Germany.
In Germany. Yeah. So, okay, great.
Yeah, great, thanks a lot.
I feel sure we will see again. We will meet again in the next weeks. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. And goodbye to the viewers. Goodbye. Yeah, I think there was really a lot of content in this video, and I really want to thank one more time Matt and Bondora for this interesting talk, for these good talks and communications. I would
It's all about men's success on YouTube. Beautiful girls in the frame, suits and lounge. Right?
That's true. Yeah. Okay. So now it's perfect. Now we get a lot of thumbs up, I think. Okay. Thank you. Okay, to be honest, I was a little bit distracted right now, but if you appreciate our efforts we did for this interview, we would be happy if you put thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. In any way, we wish you all the best. Goodbye.